Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video. This week I thought I'd share an NPC from one of the campaigns that I run as a dungeon master for D&D. I've been playing D&D now for about 2 years and have been a dungeon master now for about 6 months, and I honestly have had so much fun being a dungeon master and weaving these stories for characters to play upon and a world for the characters to play in has been so much joy to me that I honestly, in a way, I don't miss being a player because I've enjoyed being a dungeon master so much. I'm really fortunate to have run 2 campaigns so far. One is a very story heavy campaign, just because the characters love to RP so much. They love role playing and interactions between the characters, so it becomes a much more story heavy game. Whereas the other campaign, they're still finding their feet a little bit, but they are much more puzzle solving and dungeon crawling sort of team. So it really has been a challenge, but also really fun to be able to do this. And one game is online, we play via using Discord and Roll20, and the other game is in person, so it's been really fun and really challenging to be able to do both. So I thought I'd do a series of videos talking about the NPCs of the game that I run and the backstories behind them, just because it is so much fun to be able to create these characters that I just want to share them with you all. Now, I understand not everyone will be into Dungeons and Dragons, and Dungeons and Dragons may not be everyone's thing, but the one thing that I've really have enjoyed about it, and I cannot stress this enough, is how much of a fantastic storytelling tool it can be, and as well as a character building exercise. You'll be able to create characters that you would not normally work with, and build up stories and who they are and have them interact with other characters. It's sort of, think of Dungeons and Dragons as a storytelling roleplay exercise. Now, not everyone will play Dungeons and Dragons in that way, but through my experiences through the games that I've played, I've really enjoyed that aspect of it. So before I dive into Captain Ruby Chain's backstory, I'll tell you a little bit about the equipment I'm using. I'm using here a mixed media pad. This is the Faber-Castell mixed media pad. I'm using some gouache. This is some new gouache that I actually got. This is the P.O.BOX gouache, and I've really enjoyed using this one. I only got this because my previous gouache had expired. It started to smell a little bit funky. So I treated myself and got some new ones after Christmas, and I've really enjoyed using these in comparison to the other ones. As well as that, I use a little bit of watercolours in the background, as well as my Unipin fine liners and my Unipin white gel pen. For a full list of equipment, as always, it is down below, as well as Amazon affiliate links, so you are able to get that equipment yourself if you are interested. So let's dive into Ruby Chain's backstory. Ruby Chain is a tabaxi, that is sort of like a catfolk for those who don't play in D&D, and she is classed as a swashbuckling rogue. So she essentially has a giant sword that she loves to fight with, and the good thing is about her being a tabaxi is she naturally has a lot of good athletics and dexterity, and it just really fits in with her character. Her character originally is based off the captain in Treasure Planet. Just because I have such a soft spot for that character, I really wanted to create an NPC built around that. So Ruby Chain's backstory is quite a long, troublesome, arduous journey, but it built her to be the character that she is today, and who my players absolutely adore. I'm really happy that they love Captain Ruby so much. But Captain Ruby isn't without her faults. She's a stern but lovable captain, loves each and every single one of the crew as if they were her own children. But she also has a drinking problem, and this is going to be something that's going to be divulged into, and this can affect sometimes the way that she is. She spirals, and it's something that is her major fault. She has this flaw. So Captain Ruby grew up as an orphan. Her parents were killed in a battle between the Shadebarrow and Costilia, which are two nations which are consistently at war over land. The Shadebarrow wants to expand and Costilia will not allow them to do so. So growing up, she had to learn to adapt and to survive. And at the age of 6, becoming quite skillful in what she did, she bumped into the captain and tried to steal his coin purse. He quickly caught her, berated her, and took pity on Captain Ruby and took her in to raise her as his own. And she very quickly took to him. He kind of became a father figure for her. He taught her so much and he got joy out of seeing her succeed. He was a wonderful man in the beginning, such a kind gentleman who, even though he was a pirate, had a soft spot for Ruby and grew to love her as she grew. During her teenage years, she got a lot more rebellious and decided that she was going to be a lot more outrageous in stealing things for the captain. She grew very, very competent at what she did. Her swashbuckling ways and her ease with the knife meant that she was a fearsome first mate. And about 13 years ago in game, she landed in a lot of trouble on land and bumped into a guard while she was stealing things and ended up in prison. While she was there, a body got thrown in, a lifeless corpse, so to speak. And this was one of the player characters, Fatch. When he awoke with a startle, they quickly bonded and hatched a plan to escape. And over the years, they grew super, super close and honestly were thick as thieves. But times changed and the old captain changed. He started to grow greedy and harsh and started to punish the crew more and more. Ruby grew distant from the captain but still loved him fiercely for who he was. And about 7 years ago, well no, it was 8 years ago, she fell in love with a tabaxi on land. And they grew fast and she got pregnant. She left for a few months, fearing the crew, and told Fatch to look after them, while she was very heavily pregnant at the time, and she had her children. She, after a few months, about 6 months of being away, decided that she had to come back to the sea and left her children and her husband behind on land. Quickly, she realised that the captain had changed. He would punish the crew for the smallest things, started to become more and more greedy. And although she would fiercely love him, she would protect the crew with all of her heart. And that's when his animosity grew towards her. He blamed her for everything. The fact that she had another love upon the land that she left, and it grew very poisonous. And then the incident. The crew were originally planning a mutiny, and when the captain found out, he was furious and took it out upon Ruby. And he struck her down. And as he struck her down, a kraken just appeared. And as a mutiny and a kraken fight was happening with all the confusion, the captain died. He was swallowed up whole by the kraken, and there was nothing left. This was terrifying for Ruby, and as the ship pulled in for its repairs, she went to go and see her husband and her partner, her love, and her children. but they weren't there. They'd been killed. While they were battling on sea, there was a battle that happened upon land, and her partner and her children had gone. She spiraled and turned to the bottle, and it broke her. She became the new captain and tried to be there for her crew and love them fiercely, but she went into a very deep spiral, and the drinking was her way of coping. It sort of got worse and worse and worse until one day she'd had enough and decided that she needed to be there for the crew that had been there for her in her time of need. Although she still drinks fiercely today, it is something that she every now and again does spiral into. But it's her way of coping. It is not a healthy way of coping, but it's her way of coping. And over the years, she has gotten better. But whenever the anniversary comes about of those few months which were oh so terrible to her, she does spiral. And the captain deals with it in her way. Over the last 6 years, the crew have gotten strong, and she loves each and every one of them so fiercely. Not all of them are a part of the original crew. Some left, some changed, and a lot of new people and old people are here. But each of them work together, and they are a fierce and wonderful crew, and see Captain Ruby as one of the strongest people that they know. Yes, she can snap, and yes, she can be fierce, but the thing is about Captain Ruby is that she's loyal, very loyal to her crew. She would do anything for them, and each and every one of them she loves so fiercely. And she would see them grow, and if they wanted to leave, she would let them. She would never let herself become like the previous captain. She would never want to take it out on another crew member, because she would not let herself become who her father was: greedy, manipulative, and a cruel person. So that's Captain Ruby. Her story is one of those that it can be quite difficult to tell, just because there is a lot of trigger points in there that can cause a person to spiral, but it built Ruby into who she is today. And yes, Ruby has had points of which do cause her to spiral and have these moments of clarity. She is such an enjoyable NPC to play, because even though she does have her rough spots, she is a very caring person overall. Plus, I just really like doing her voice. She's just like, I love each and every one of you so much that I just can't help myself, you know. And if you don't mind, pass me that bottle of rum, because I've had my eye on it all day. She's just so much fun to play, and she will not make 100% of the decisions, because even though she is captain, she sees every decision that the crew makes should be as a whole, not just her decision overall. And this also plays into the part with her interactions with the previous captain and who he was overall. But I hope you enjoyed this little story time about Ruby, and let me know if you are interested in hearing more about the NPCs for this world that I've built. I'm so excited to share some more of them. It just excites me so much. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, the art and the overall story time. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want to see more, and let me know about your D&D characters or D&D NPCs that you've built. I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always folks, stay creative. Oh no, I rolled a 6. That's a terrible roll.